now that we have a HTML page created and a CSS file that's external to our HTML page linked, we need to talk about scripts. The three pillars of front-end development, web development, are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And so we need to have all three linked in order to use all three of those three pillars of front-end web development. And just like CSS, there's a good, better, best approach to this. Sometimes you'll see embedded in HTML a script tag. And then inside this script tag, you'll see JavaScript code added right inside of the script tag. Problem again with that is that it needs to be copied and pasted into every different HTML page that needs to use the same code. So it's not preferred by any stretch. Doable, but not preferred. Instead, what you should do is, like the styles belong all inside of a styles subfolder, the best thing to do is to create an external script file. And to do this, we're going to create a separate folder to store our scripts, and we'll just call it scripts. So I click on the new folder icon, name it scripts, and then inside of this scripts folder, because we called our style sheet default, maybe I'll call our scripts default, but instead of CSS, we'll call it .js for JavaScript. Once again, because of the extension, VS Code has a hint of how to help us with some of that image support we've talked about. So now I can write JavaScript code in this external JavaScript file. If I wanted to add some code, I could do it right here. Now we still need to link that over to our HTML page, just like we did with our CSS file. So the best way to do that is, instead of adding it inline here, right before the closing body tag, well, let me show you two ways to do it. Sometimes you'll see it still up in the head tag. Instead of a link tag, we add a script tag. Now Emma doesn't offer a ton of support in that, so we can say the source of this, it's like the href attribute for a link. The source attribute wants to know where are we storing the file. And if we look over here, we can see that we're storing it inside of a scripts folder, and it's called default.js. So we could add the name of the folder, scripts in this case, and then a / and just accept the default.js. So again, it's in a scripts folder, and so we have to put the folder name in there, and the name of the file is default.js. The problem with doing it this way is it will automatically, as this page loads, your browser basically loads your HTML from top down, left to right, just like we read in English. It's going to do the same thing. And so that's a problem, because some of our code inside this JavaScript file might refer to HTML elements that come afterward. And if that happens, your JavaScript could throw some errors in the browser. So one thing you can do, kind of a better approach, if you're going to put your script file in the header, is to add this attribute called defer. And it basically says, don't run the code that's in this file until the entire rest of the HTML file is loaded. And once all of that's loaded, then go ahead and run this code. And that's probably the better approach than having inline styles. What I prefer to do is not have that in there, and then to basically take this script tag and move it down right before the closing body tag, which forces that script to not be seen by the browser until all of the HTML has been loaded up above. Once all of this has been loaded, then this script gets loaded, and any code inside that script can run. So that is probably the best approach in order to have your scripts, your JavaScript content, separate from your HTML, and to have it load only when the rest of the HTML is loaded on the web page through the browser.